On this episode of Tales of the Table is a special Halloween edition. But first, make sure you leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. If you leave us a 5-star review, guess what? We'll read it on the podcast. And if you're lucky, you'll be able to come on the podcast. We've had one 5-star review guest on the pod. Okay, one. Count it one. We have about 5 reviews, but only one wanted to come on. But the next one could be you. Also,
we loved him so much, we brought him in again.
He's been a 2-time recurring guest. Also, check out our YouTube. All these podcasts are recorded on video, and we are on YouTube. It's Tales of the Table on YouTube. Check us out there. Number 3, make sure you follow us on social media. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and soon to be Twitch and TikTok at TLTI Pod. We don't know what our Twitch or TikTok names are yet, but we'll get those there as soon as possible. And also coming soon is our website. You'll be able to see our posts. We'll have a little blog for each episode, and we'll have our schedules for Twitch and our podcast, and maybe we'll even have some merchandise. You can buy your very own Tales of the Table merchandise.
Not yet.
So listen, Matthew, that was a solid little plug right there, buddy. You've been taking some speech classes?
That's me, speech class Matthew. I took one speech class, public speaking in the college.
I did have a funny story I wanted to introduce today. It has literally nothing to do with our theme, but
you know how we just talked about what order we're going to go in, and then you just throw it
off?
Oh,
yeah. You know, I got to throw that out the window. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, anyway, so I went to Outback today. You know that I loathe Outback so much, but my wife enjoys it. So we went there, and I'm like getting bored fiddling as I'm waiting for the food and stuff, and we're talking and stuff. So I rip one of the coasters, like because they have the paper coasters, and then McKenna says, she looks at me, she's like, "You can't do that. You're gonna get in so much trouble." And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "You can't rip them." And I was like, "Are you joking right now? Like, you're joking. You have to be joking." She's like, "No." I was like, "McKenna, when these things get wet, they absorb the water. They're made out of paper. They throw them away." She's like, "No, they don't." So then she takes it. Look, I brought one home. She takes it, and she tries to wipe it off. She tries to clean it. And I'm like, "McKenna, what are you doing?" And then the one that I had ripped before, she takes her napkin and hides it. She's like, "They can't see." I'm like, "You're going to make me ask them, aren't you? You're going to make me ask them." So then the person comes over, and I was like, weird question. I was like, "These little coasters right here." I was like, "Are they, you don't reuse them if people like actually used them that day?" And he's like, "No." And I was like, "Thank you very much. Thank you very much." So there's a weird little story of how Goofy, look at this. She actually thought this was reusable, and it's made out of paper.
What did she say? After the waiter was like,
after she was like, she looked at me and said, "I don't think he's right." I was like, "Oh, the guy whose job it is to clean them up? You don't think he's right?" She definitely doubled down.
Please let it, we disavow stealing coasters from restaurants, but that was a funny story, Boone.
This is not a story. It literally has an advertise. It has a 50% off coupon on it.
Yeah, we came here last week and I stole this coaster. Please give me money. So we think we're going to start off this episode with a draft for Halloween. So how this is going to work, we already predetermined the order with a randomizer. Bowen gets first pick, Boone gets second pick, and I get third pick. It's going to be a snake draft. We got to pick one of each. Candy, Halloween candy specifically, Halloween movie, our favorite cryptid, so like Bigfoot, Wendigos, which we discussed in our episode, Don't Go Chasing Wendigos. I came up with that title all on my own. Go listen to that episode. And also a real-life spooky event, either you've experienced or you have seen on TV or you read about it. So we'll start off.
I almost panicked for a second because it just hit me that I was going first, and my answer was kind of prepared to be like not going first. So now I got to figure out what my favorite candy of all time is.
It doesn't have to be candy. It could be a spooky event. It could be cryptid movie. You don't have to pick it in that order.
You can draft it in any order.
Well, I'm definitely going.
I told you didn't understand it before we started, and you said you understood it.
No, I didn't understand that part. Okay, well, I'm going to go candy first, and I am going to pick Snickers. Any level of them, the minis, the regular candy bar.
So are we putting ourselves in the mind of when we used to go trick-or-treating and being like, okay, what's in this bag? Oh, some Snickers? So that would make you the most excited if you got some Snickers back then?
Especially a full bar? What are you kidding?
Okay, I can't argue with you, but back when I was a kid, I hated peanuts, so that wouldn't have flown.
That's not a bad choice. I was thinking When you first said
It's
it, I was
definitely,
like
the most
gross,
popular
but then I was
candy
like,
bar.
I actually really pretty like Snickers a lot. So
Yeah, they're all right. They're all right.
I definitely think it's the most popular candy bar right now. I'm pretty sure.
I'm
it
pretty
is.
Are you
sure-
sure it's
Yeah,
not?
pretty
It's
sure
more popular than just like the basic Hershey
I think
bar.
Hershey's is the most. Actually, I watched Rhett and Link do the Halloween candy countdown, and they said the first most popular candy was M&M's, second was Hershey bar, third is Reese's.
Well, M&M's not a bar.
You
First
just
off.
said candy.
not
So the
candy
most
bar.
if Hershey's is the most popular, second most popular candy overall, I would say it's the most popular candy bar.
All right, so now it's my turn to draft.
Yeah.
I'm going to go the candy order as well. I'm going to say that mine is my all-time favorite anyway, and it doesn't have to be Halloween. But if I get it Halloween, it's really like I'm really about to enjoy myself. It's some Reese Pieces,
Oh
not
my
Reese
God, those
Cups,
are
Reese
terrible
Pieces.
picks.
Every single time I see them, I get excited.
So I'm gonna go. So for
I see.
Halloween,
I think I like peanut M&Ms more than Reese's Pieces.
yeah,
do.
Oh my
Reese's,
gosh.
I will stand on this hill. Reese's Pieces are disgusting. I hate them.
Oh,
It's just
how?
like sugar coated
How?
peanut butter. That's gross.
Peanut butter and chocolate. That's
There's
what I
no
want.
peanut bu-
I
there's no
want-
chocolate in the Reese's
I'm here.
Pieces.
I'm here for the sugar-coated peanut butter and chocolate.
There's no chocolate
I'm
in
here
Reese's
for it.
Pieces.
Yes, there is. There's half chocolate. Look it up, Matthew. That's literally the point of Reese's Pieces.
I did look
Anyway.
up the most popular candy bars in America. Number 1 is Hershey's. Number 2 is Reese's somehow. Number 3 is Snickers. Thank you.
Okay, so my cousin is number 2. So I mean, it's whatever. I mean, I know I'm cool. Okay, come on. move on.
Reese's Pieces
Yeah, but
box
I don't think
confirms it
Reese's
is
Pieces
described
taste
as
like
peanut butter
Reese's.
candy in a crunchy shell. No mention of chocolate. There's no chocolate in
They
Reese's
don't have to
Pieces.
mention it. It comes naturally.
It does.
No, you know what?
Comes
But
naturally.
I was thinking the same thing. I thought that it was like basically like an M&M with peanut butter in the middle. But then I was watching Rhett and Link, and they were talking about it. They were like, "There's no chocolate. It's just peanut butter."
Okay, well,
And a
I'm still
Reese's
here
Pieces.
for it.
This episode is brought to you by
Okay.
Rhett and Link.
My favorite food in the world is peanut butter and jelly. So I mean, it's another cousin
So my
of
first
that
round
right
pick,
there.
I got my number 1 candy still on the board, so I'm not going to pick that because you guys already picked a candy. I'm going to go with.
Why don't you just stick with the motive?
Are we doing like scary? Do we guys want to do specifically Halloween themed movies?
No, just a scary
So
movie.
like
It doesn't have to be Halloween
So
themed.
number 1 overall,
I would do Halloween.
my favorite movie, my favorite
no, probably not.
movie I watch around Halloween. I've watched it since I was a little kid. It's great. It's going to be Scooby-Doo Zombie Island.
This kid did not just take that.
Took it first overall. For some reason, I was terrified of it as a kid, but I loved watching it.
That was my movie. That was my
We
movie.
talked about that. The other
That
day.
was my movie. No joke. That was my movie. I literally had it written down. I was like, Scooby Doo Zombie Island. That's my
I
go-to.
took it.
That's my dog. I just watched it this week.
That's the point of the draft. You
Oh,
should have
yeah.
taken that because no one's going to take ugly Reese's Pieces. You got to have a strategy coming into these things.
Okay, I didn't know you was gonna take it, Matthew. You ain't no Scooby Doo.
Okay, so
fan.
Bowen, you said Snickers,
okay?
right? I need to write this down. Boone said Reese's Pieces.
So we do.
I said Scooby Doo Zombie Island. So now it's my pick again because it's a snake draft. So I'm gonna go with I get number 1 overall cryptid too because you guys just did candy. Oh, this is a hard one. I think I'm gonna go with Mothman. I was terrified of the X-Files episode on Mothman as well, and it's just a funny little thing they got there. Just a Mothman, spooky. Number 1 cryptid. I wanted to go Bigfoot, but that's not really that scary.
Garbage.
So I just went with Mothman.
Garbage. I can tell you no one's taking Mothman, Matthew, so you got a safe bet there.
Okay, so now Boone, it's
You
your
could have
pick.
gone candy.
Oh, it
It
goes
was
back
all
to me?
the
Oh,
same
yeah,
thing.
okay. All right, so I'm going to go. I guess I'll just go and get my movie out of the way. I will say. Because that really was it. Like, that was that number 1 movie I watched every Halloween. But my number 2 I watch every Halloween as more of a tradition is the movie Christine. It's about the car. I got it right here. Look, I got the model made right there, boys. Look at that right there. Bing, bing,
What's it called?
Christine. It's
Oh, the
it's
Stephen King movie?
written by Stephen King.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really good. Just a really campy, like old-fashioned '80s horror movie. Love that movie.
Yeah, when I think like Halloween movie, I don't think like scary movie. I think like just like cheesy movies.
I think it has to have elements that make it. You know what I mean? Like it's not about being scary. Like Hereditary, I would not consider like even though it's scary, it's not like it's Halloween movie. It gotta has like this theme. Like there's like a feel to a
Yeah,
Halloween.
it's not
themed
like-
movie.
terror. It's like spooky. Ooh, ha. ha.
And it leads you. Yeah, it leads you in. Like Scooby Doo Zombie Island leads you in. I know what you're saying. It's a hard thing to explain. It's more of like an atmosphere the movie brings with it.
Okay, so Bowen, you got to pick between a movie, cryptid, and spooky event.
movie Crypto.
Yeah, your favorite crypto.
My favorite crypto. I can do that. Actually, I just sold all my crypto. Okay, no, I'm gonna say. So I just thought about my favorite movie because I remember this from a kid, and then I realized how much I look like this guy, and I think I might have to go for him as Halloween one day. But this is how much I don't like scary movies. My favorite Halloween movie is Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Oh my gosh! And you do look like him, though. You do
just
look
like
like
him. I'm wearing
him.
this white, and I was like, oh my god, I look just like him. I don't really have to do that much for a Halloween costume.
I respect to that. That's the movie we grew up with. So a lot of this comes to
It's a
movies we
classic.
grow up with. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good. It's good.
Completely off topic. Did y'all see that trailer for that new Buzz Lightyear?
I did.
I thought we should see that because, listen, that's our generation's movies. You know what I mean? Like, we grew up with Toy Story. Like, that's a big deal to us. Anyway, that's off topic.
I
just
kind
thought
of
it
wish
was
they
fire
got Tim
trailer.
Bowen,
Allen though.
it's your pick.
Yeah,
again.
but it was a great trailer with the David Bowie song in it and everything. It was a cool trailer.
And then I get to pick my favorite. What is it? Sid? What is
you
it?
have cryptid,
Cryptoid.
cryptid, or real life spooky event.
I'm gonna go Bigfoot as my
Okay,
cryptid.
that's-
I
Oh
think
my
I
that's-
thought about that. but
Okay, but how are you going to make that scary? Bigfoot's like he's just hanging out, man.
have you not seen
he's
the
pretty
beef
spooky.
jerky commercials?
Yeah, they kind of stopped those. didn't they?
Actually,
I ain't seen one in a while.
would like a Loch Ness monster? Would that be one?
That's
Or
also
does that
cryptid,
not
but you
count?
can't double pick, Bowen.
Well, I'm just thinking.
No,
I
he
might
can
change my
reverse.
mind.
He can reverse
This
it. He
is
can
the
reverse
sauce
it.
all over again.
What about like a giant squid?
Oh my gosh, you 3 picks?
Oh, that's good. Like the Kraken.
Kraken.
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
Giant
Kraken.
squids are
I
real.
think I want the
Bowen. You would
Kraken.
pick
I
the
want the
Kraken,
Kraken.
which is not real.
The Kraken's cool. You don't know much about it though, Bone. That's so.
Yeah, but
you're
it
like an.
spooks me out though. I hate like thinking about being in the ocean.
That
or
was one of my
something
phobias.
big.
Yeah, I mean, I get
That's
that.
a
I
common
definitely
phobia.
get
That
that.
was one of my phobias for later in the episode. Spoiler alert.
Okay, so you got Kraken. I'm the one who basically flirted you into picking the
I
Kraken.
gotta
So
change yours back.
anyway, my favorite. I'll do my favorite cryptid. I guess I'm gonna have to go with the Skinwalker, and not necessarily the Wendigo, but the reason why I'm going with the Skinwalker is because Matthew sent me those TikToks recently.
Didn't that
And
look
those were
exactly what you
creepy.
described?
That was It was
Yes.
Bowen. Have you seen it? The one that
I
Matthew
don't
sent.
think so.
Matthew, make sure Bowen gets to see it because
Oh.
that one right there, the way it moved, Bowen, it caught it. I can't even think about it too much. We're gonna have to move on from this topic too much because my eyes will start watering because it looks precisely what we saw, Bowen.
Oh, I think I saw that because I think I saw a video. And
I didn't
remember
even bring it
thinking,
back. I didn't
that
even
thing
bring it
looks
back
just
up.
like what I saw, but then I was like, maybe I'm just seeing it wrong.
I didn't even
But
bring
thought
it back
I
up.
saw
I
a
was so
video.
scared. I was
Really?
like, no, I'm not watching that. I don't want to see any more of that. That's exactly what it looked like. Made me traumatized. I woke up the next morning traumatized still. That one TikTok. So I would just say that or whatever. I don't know what it is, but whatever that thing was, that cryptid. Whatever it is, Skinwalker, Wendigo, one of those guys.
Okay, so that was your cryptid, right?
Yeah.
So my choice for spooky event is gonna be your guys' story about the thing you saw. So another plug to that episode. Go back and listen to it. Don't go.
Can we make the creepy event not have to be personal? That way we can just pick our favorite creepy.
Yeah,
event.
mine's not
I
personal
said-
at all.
Okay.
That's why it's pretty vague. Real life creepy event.
Okay.
That I'm not really a big believer in the supernatural, but and I don't 100% believe you guys still, but the way that you guys get terrified about it makes me think it was real, which is even more creepy. Because like if someone says scary movie based on true events, I'm like, is it really though? But then when you guys talk about it, I'm like, maybe it is. So that's why that was creepy. And then my mom said she saw the same thing. Unless it's just some big conspiracy out to get me, then it has to be some truth to it. So I'm gonna go
That'd
with
be
that.
funny.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, go listen to the episode. Don't go chasing Wendigos.
Maybe they live in
Yeah,
national
definitely.
parks. Remember we were going to talk about
That's
that.
a
How many
theory
people-
that there are creatures.
It
in
was a
national
park
parks.
we saw it at, so I mean, it's back to me. Okay, so my favorite spooky event is definitely going to be the infield haunting. That's what the Conjuring 2 movie was based off of.
It wasn't.
Yeah,
it's my
mine's a
pick.
spooky event. No, I thought it went back to me. You
no,
already
it's
picked.
a giraffe. It's a snake
It's a
giraffe.
snake.
I
He
get.
gets two.
Oh, I forgot.
It doesn't really
Because I
matter.
picked Casper.
My-
Well, you already spoiled mine, so just
Kraken.
you tell yours, and I'll come back to mine.
I'm picking candy. This is a hard one because
Oh my
my favorite
Save candy
probably.
for last.
I don't like chocolate a lot because I already drink a lot and I'm thirsty a lot. No, I don't have diabetes out there. I've already tried to go to the doctor and see because I drink all the time. Which is a
Are
symptom
people commenting?
of diabetes.
Maybe
He drinks-
Matthew-
he-
I wonder
he
if
drinks-
Matthew has diabetes.
He drinks other liquids than alcohol. Matthew said, "I drink
Well,
all the time."
I-
It may put off the wrong vibes.
I'm thirsty all the time.
You did say that.
So chocolate like coats my mouth and I can't like it makes me even more thirsty. So I don't like it. But Reese's cups, like just a Reese's cup, I can only eat like 1 or 2 before I'm like, blah, too much thirsty. But I'm going to go Reese's cup as my favorite Halloween candy with my last pick. Somehow I got the best one.
See, it's funny. I feel the same way because when I was Googling most popular candy, I feel that way, but about like the non-chocolate candy, like Skittles and the gummy, like the Sour Patch Kids.
I can eat Sour Patch Kids all
day
day long.
That style candy, I can only eat a few before I'm bored of them, and I don't like them. But chocolate stuff like that, I can eat a lot of.
That's the opposite.
I can eat a lot of Reese's Pieces.
I almost picked
I'm definitely on more on the vibe with Bowen. Like the it's not even that I could eat them all day long, but I won't get sick eating too much chocolate. I will get sick eating too much like the sugar Sour Patch Kids Skittles. I will get sick. My stomach will start hurting. Well, back to me. What I'd say was the Infield Haunting. It's what the Conjuring 2 movie is based off of. The reason why, not to go into the whole details of it, is because it's one of the only documented cases in like supernatural, I guess you'd say supernatural history, where the police were involved and they still like went on record saying that something supernatural happened here. Like they did not believe that they could point direct fingers at anything else. So I always thought that was a pretty interesting thing, especially when officials get involved and they still believe.
It is spooky. It is spooky. The movie's terrifying.
I'm just trying to think. I've been trying to think of my favorite spooky thing that's ever happened. I don't like spooky stuff, though. Like, the first time I ever went to a haunted house, I was in 3rd or 4th grade. I didn't even make it inside. I just made it to the stairs. It was downtown Frankfurt. I cried. I just cried.
The same thing happened in high school.
I left. They paid like $25, $30. And they really didn't want me to let out. They really didn't want me out because they paid so much for the ticket. And I was like, okay, my only way I'm going to be able to get out of this is if I just start crying.
So
I was like,
you thought meta, like you thought outside and was like, okay, I need to cry to get myself out of this.
I gotta get out of this. It was so terrifying. But it wasn't. But I started like by the time I don't think any of the kids made it through except for maybe Faith. But like it was when like Toby and Jack and all them were down.
Yeah.
All of them ended up going back to the van too.
Jack that was on our podcast.
Jack that was on our podcast. He was tiny. I mean, they were tiny.
So we can go ahead and shout out to the story of where that happened again when Bowen was high school, drives all the way out of Versailles. I'm at the haunted house already, and then Bowen gets out and says, nah, I'm good, and then just gets back in the car and forces everybody in the car to turn around and go home.
No, I think I was ready to. I was willing to stay in the car, and y'all were like, no.
I think it was more like Beth was involved, and she just was not like happy with you for not going in.
But weren't you already there and had already gone through it?
Yeah. I was already I hadn't gone through it. I was waiting in the line, and I said, "Hey, we got because I was waiting to get in line at the front door, and I was like, "Hey, when y'all showing up?" And y'all was like 15 minutes, and then y'all finally show up, and then I didn't even get to see Bowen turn around. All I heard was like, "Okay, we're pulling up," and then I got another text message later or a phone call later saying, "Now we're heading back to Frankfurt." And I was like, "Why?" And then it's like, "Bowen didn't want to go in." I was like,
"Sure, it's Lawrenceburg."
Oh my, yeah, it was Lawrenceburg.
Shout out, Lawrence.
Right. I think that's part of the whole reason why anytime anything scary ever happens, I just run. Like really, like that's just like the first time out. Like fight or flight, most of the time. And then I'm in a haunted house. I feel like I can't like get out. So, but it's a very spooky event. I don't know. I was trying to think of something with some conspiracy.
I already wrote
theory.
down 3rd grade haunted house.
Yeah, it's already on the list, dog.
Okay, yeah, that was spooky to me.
Relative to Bowen.
Okay, so next on the docket, as we like to say here on the podcast.
Hold on, Matthew. Did you finish yours? I thought did you get all yours?
Yes. So I'll read them as it goes. I'll do favorite candy for all of us, favorite movie, favorite cryptid. So Bowen's list is Snickers, Casper, Kraken, Bowen's first haunted house. Boone's list is Reese's Pieces,
solid list, I think.
Christine, Skinwalker, Infield Haunting. Mine is Scooby-Doo Zombie Island, Mothman, Don't Go Chasing Wendigos, and Reese's.
All I'll say is my cryptid, I think, wins in the water. I mean, like, you come in the water, you're done. You're done. Neither of you all have a chance.
Yeah, but you come on the land.
Maybe on land.
Yours is definitely the biggest, but ours, like, the powers are basically a question mark.
I'm pretty sure
because you don't even know.
Has superpowers.
you don't even know. Like, Mothman, I mean, who knows about that guy? Okay,
I've never heard of him before.
Isn't there like a whole like city that like just fears that guy, like celebrates him, like
in, like the northern United States? But the pictures of Mothman are so creepy. Just Google Mothman real quick and look at the pictures.
I'm good. I'm not.
Capabilities.
I don't want to get nightmares.
Oh, it's not the north. It's West Virginia. User
You
with
know,
the
I watch
ability
scary
either
movies all the time.
users with this ability either is or can transform into Mothman, a cryptid creature that was said to have terrorized West Virginia during the 1960s. A bipedal winged human standing 7 feet tall with a 10 to 15 foot wingspan, plus the ability to fly over 100 miles an hour.
Here's a weird shower thought. What if all of the cryptids and all of let's just stick with cryptids. What if they're all real and we're all just sitting here thinking that they're not? But like, what if every single one of them real and they're just doing a good job of like avoiding
They have
us
a whole
and like
society
making
in the caves.
yes,
of
like there's
national
like
parks.
they all
In the national parks is why so many people go
they,
missing.
they all know each other. Like Bigfoot comes up to Mothman like, "Hey man, you still holding it down over there?" Yeah, man, I'm taking care of business over here. What about you? No, he's like, "Oh, I had to move woods, like the park
They're getting
ranger."
close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're getting close.
Oh, wait. Are we good to move on?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna do. We're gonna discuss. Boone's idea was to discuss some. So Halloween's a scary time. Wanted to talk about some phobias and some that are weird. So we're gonna. I think we should name like some weird phobias and say, does anybody have these? And then we can each go around and say if we have any phobias. Put those out there, so the listeners get to know us on a deeper level and how to scare us. So I just looked up top 10 most bizarre phobias. Actually, I'll go to the one that Boone already looked at. So these are pretty good. If you want to follow along, it's at the Recovery Village. This isn't actually feel bad making fun of these now because this is a mental health website. But number one is Agoraphobia. Boone, do you know what that is?
It was on the top of the list. Well, I don't even remember what it was. It's the same
Terrified
list.
of pterodactyls.
No, it was like I
Say it
don't
again.
know. I won't know.
I'll say it one more time. Agoraphobia. I sort of get this one. It's
Racquetball.
fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth.
Yes, that's the
So
weird
I
one.
mean,
Yeah.
it's a weird at first, but then I can see like you sort of feel like you're choking and you can't breathe. I can get that.
I can get that, but like
It'll
it's
never
not a
get
fear. Like it just sticks. Like it'll go away. You know what I mean?
but
Like it's
you
not
could
going to be. It's
scared
not a
that it'll never
permanent
go
thing.
away and you're stuck like that forever.
I don't think that counts as a phobia if it kind of bothers you. I think for it to you actually have the phobia, you have to be like.
Well, it's a real phobia, but when he's
No, I'm
reading
saying
it off the
Matthew's saying I think I might I get it, and I'm saying yeah, I understand it, but I don't think you have it. I'm saying to actually have it.
Oh,
it's not just something that
have it. No.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But I mean, dogs they'll love that. Dogs the opposite of that phobia. They want it to stick to the top of their mouth so they can lick that stuff all day long.
All day long, save a little pocket.
I'm just gonna do the top
Pocket
5
of
because there's
peanut
21
butter.
of these, but this next one we got to be careful with the pronunciation here, brothers. It's nomophobia.
It's
No
I
more
remember that one. It's the fear of being without your phone.
Correct.
I definitely feel that one, especially if I'm in a place I don't know. You know what I mean? Like if I'm like downtown in the middle of the city and I don't have a phone and it's like nighttime. Ooh, it's a little sketch. Like
often does that
I
happen
get
to
that
you?
a phobia. I get that it doesn't. But
Boone
like
leaves his phone in the
the,
locked
especially
place.
like the
This won't work.
woods. Like if I'm in the woods and I don't have a phone. I mean, more than likely I won't have service, but it'll just it's like a comfort to know that you do have a phone if you need
I mean,
it.
we all know that feeling when you reach down your pocket and you're expecting to just grab your phone and it's not there, and your heart kind of like drops for a second. You're like, "Where's my?" Like I'm not talking about at home, but like you thought you lost your. phone.
You're literally that Mr. Krabs meme. You're just like.
Yeah.
Number 3, arithmophobia.
I think I've heard of this, but I don't know what it is.
Their names always sound like what they're like not at
This
all.
one
what they're
sounds
gonna
like what
be.
it's supposed to be.
The last
is
one
it?
did. The
A
last
rith.
one,
A
nomophobia.
fear of
sounds
getting
like
arthritis when you're older.
Close, but not at all.
Arithmophobia.
That's arthrophobia. Arithmo what? What does that sound like? It's the fear of numbers.
No, they don't scare me. It's weird.
Numbers.
I can be
scare you?
afraid of something that you have to interact with every
Say the
day.
name again. Say the name of the phobia.
Arithmophobia.
Arithmetic,
like
maybe? Is
numbers?
that what
Yeah,
it's trying to
that's
say?
what
Like
I was
arithmetic?
talking about, arithmetic, yeah.
Okay.
This one doesn't make any sense. Plutophobia.
Okay, we both know what we want to say, but we're not going to say it. It's definitely not the fear of Pluto.
The
It's
fear of losing your planet status. The fear of
Ooh, that's
no,
a good one. Except
that's good.
who's scared of not being a planet anymore, Bowen? That's
Let me
9
see.
people in this universe.
fear. And it probably has to do with something. Fear that the Earth is actually flat.
Nope, it's the fear of money.
That makes no
I don't
sense.
know.
See,
What's a
some of these-
plutocracy? I think I've heard that.
Why do
before.
people word things the way they do?
Yeah, plutocracy is a government by the wealthy, so it has to be some kind of root word. Go to Latin classes, brothers. Okay, we're on our last one. Xanthophobia.
The fear of gum.
That's close.
Fear of Xanax?
Nope. The fear of the color yellow.
How am I close, Matthew?
You weren't.
Don't tell me I'm close when I'm not.
All right, so
I know, but that's such
that might have not been as exciting as we planned, but
That wasn't very exciting.
Well,
I do have a phobia that I looked up, though. It's called
I have phobias.
tryphophobia.
Cryptophobia?
Tryphophobia?
Where you're
No.
scared of the water underneath you?
No. Tryphophobia, a fear or disgust of closely packed holes.
oh,
I
I've
hate
heard
it.
of
It
this.
makes my skin crawl. Just look
I've-
at the pictures. I
I've-
hate it. I don't know why. But yeah, it really freaks me out. Where did
I've
you
heard
it
of
from?
this. Oh my!
Yeah.
I don't know where I heard it from. I think it was like National Geographic. Like they were like doing a whole thing on like beehives, and because beehives have all those holes. They was like, well, this might entice people. I mean, like bother people who have dysophobia. And they talked about it. And I was like, what?
Yeah. That kind of thing doesn't bother me, but it is stuff with like close holes. A lot of holes that are close together. Like, there's this one on this guy's foot. I can't even.
My thing is with the phobias, is it like scary enough to where it's like, what is it the people do when they see
I don't
it?
feel
Like,
scared, but when I see stuff that bothers me, like my whole skin like shakes.
I know,
I
but
feel
does it
like
get to the point to where
gross.
somebody's so bad with that whatever phobia to where like they just see it and they just start running the other way? Like they just see a beehive or like and they just start running.
Yeah. Mine's more like towards, it says fear or disgust. Mine's more towards the disgust. Like it just grosses me out. I can't.
I got a phobia.
I mean, I don't like holes next to each other.
I got
but
two phobias. I'll leave with the first one.
It doesn't gross you out.
Thalassophobia. It's probably my most like applicable one. It's like the fear of like deep water underneath you. So like I hate going in lakes.
Yes.
Like the ocean doesn't bother me as much because it's so big, but you know there's something in a lake, and you know that you're gonna get touched by it.
Yes, I definitely vibe with that one, especially when I'm like swimming in the river or something, and like when you're getting close to like the banks and your feet start touching things. I'm like, no, I know something's there. Like you just know it is. There's too much aquatic life for there not to be something there.
Yeah, it's definitely. The ocean's not as bad. Like you can sort of see underneath you in the ocean, like when you're close, if the water's clear. But like rivers, lakes, not clear water. You can't see anything. You might as well just be dangling over.
Did it scare you when we were? Did it freak you out when we went on that pontoon boat?
I didn't go on that.
He didn't go on that.
Have you ever been in a lake?
Yes, my family had a boat. When we
Lakes
were
don't bother me as much as
young.
rivers. I think there's more wildlife in rivers than there are lakes.
Yeah, but
Stuff you
lakes are
don't want.
contained though. You don't know what's like something in the river. It'll flow by. Lakes, it's just out there looking for you.
Yeah,
No,
man.
I think they're pretty scared.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Man-made lakes.
I mean, they're more than likely it's scared. But what about that one that's not? There's going to be one that's not. They always say.
I'm pretty sure there's like
There's
water Bigfoots, something like that.
Yeah, there are. I've heard them.
And my second phobia is it's a little deeper here. It's apeirophobia. It's the fear of eternity. That gets in my that causes some panic attacks right there. You start thinking about how big the universe is, how eternal, how
Yeah.
time will never end.
That definitely,
Scary-
that definitely
scary
is-
stuff.
I don't know if it's a phobia. It's that I'll like start thinking about it, and then my religion starts kicking in, and then it starts giving me a headache, and I'm like, I can't keep thinking about this, or I will go insane.
Yeah, that's
like
what,
I
that's what
can't
happens.
like.
Every once in a while, it'll just right in my brain. I'm like, nope, can't do that.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. Like I'll just like, oh okay, yeah, okay, all right, overload. I'm just gonna pause. I'm just gonna get distracted and forget about it.
Okay.
You got one more, Matthew?
No, I think that's all.
My phobia is I'm just gonna tell you, like the only big phobia is of heights, and you've seen that live and in person, especially there at the Chicago Tower when I was crawling on the glass, and it's really gotten a lot better, like a lot better. But still, when I get to a certain point, it's usually like I'm perfectly fine as long as I'm restrained. Like if I'm feeling safe and secure, it's when I'm not safe and secure. And I can point out a perfect example. When we went to the top of the Empire State Building, and that building was swaying with the wind, and all there was like this little net to catch you, and the wind was blowing so hard up there. I was like, no. I was like, I don't want to be out here.
I remember that same trip when we went to New York. We got to the top of the Statue of Liberty, and we're like, where's Boone? And we looked down, and he's like down on the ground. Didn't go up there with us.
I was like, I do not like heights. But now it's a lot better. As long as I'm restrained, like I'll like those rides, like they had the Windseeker Kings Island, like we go way up and you'll swing. I love doing that, but I feel secured. Like it's like a harness is around me. Like I just feel safe. But when there's not,
it was funny when we went hiking to Cloud Splitter in Red River Gorge. You were pretty funny.
Dude, my knee, because my hands will start sweating, and then I just feel like I could keep pushing on, but my body will start literally, as they say, shutting down. Like my knees will start and my hands will start sweating. I'm like, okay, I could move on, but I'm gonna be at risk of injury or death if I don't.
A story of your improvement, Boone. The first time I went to like a Bengals game, at the top of the stands, you were like crawling up the stairs.
I hated
and
that
now,
so
then
much.
we got, like a couple weeks ago, we went to a Purdue game and climbed upstairs with much less guardrails and like is steeper. And you didn't do anything. You just walked.
Yeah, literally freaking the Bengals Stadium. What is
Bengals
that?
Stadium's different though. It is steep.
Yeah.
It does feel like you could just fall backwards.
So, and then the other thing that, like, I wasn't going to say, like, that's really my only phobia. Like, I think everybody, I was telling my, like, students about this the other day, that everyone gets afraid of the dark, but they're not actually afraid of the dark. You're afraid of what could be in the dark.
That's the same thing.
Yeah, it's like your imagination kicks in. Like, that's all it is. It's just your imagination starts playing things, and you start saying, like a common thing, you'll see like a corner, a dark room as a kid, and you just like, is there something there? Is there something there? And you'll just stare at it, and eventually you'll just start picturing it being there. But the phobia, I think, is just a little, I don't know how you could live with it. Is the main one is the agoraphobia, which is the common one everyone's heard of, where you're stuck, where you can't go leave your house. I get that if like you have family to help you, but if you're like a single person, like you can't do it. Like it's a phobia. It's literally a phobia that you would either have to fix or you'd have to like, get somebody to help you. Like it can't be done on your own. And so always after seeing that, I'm like, eventually I would go more insane sitting inside than the phobia, what it's causing me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think I'm that afraid of the dark, though, funnily enough. For some reason, it's never really bothered me. But I mean, like, if I'm in a big room, like the church, if I was ever in the church at night when nobody else was there and it was dark. Oh.
That's probably the scariest I've ever been.
Yeah, I almost thought about bringing that up for that.
I might change mine to that. So keep in mind, this story, we're like 7, 8 years old. We used to have these Bowen's birthday parties. His dad, and was it
No, somebody from the church.
Okay, I thought it might
Greg,
be like
I think.
Rick
Greg,
or
I think.
Yeah. They would turn all the lights off in the church, and we would have a scavenger hunt looking for clues to the church. And they would run around in scream masks, scaring us.
What?
Memorial Baptist. And the whole thing was like, I don't know if you've ever been in the basement, but it's old.
Yeah, I've been in the basement. I remember like that, and I think
I'm changing mine to that.
That's crazy.
That's the scariest I've ever been.
I'm changing mine to that.
Well, I agree with you about the dark Bowen, but the only thing is like I think that the reason why you don't get scared is because you're such a creature of habit. Like you're always in situations that you're used to. Like you're in your apartment, you're in your place, you're at your home. Like I think it's more creepy if like you find yourself in the woods at night, or you find yourself if you're in the church and it's so open and it's dark. It's a place you're not usually at, so you don't actually know it's there. In your house, you of course know that it's probably
that's why I brought up the church
laundry.
because there were big oddly enough, when I'm a big dark room and it's like dark, that's kind of more eerie to me for some reason because I feel like there's just more places. Like the basement, like in that big room was empty, and then like the main worship room.
I would like to make a note on a story. We were at the Bengals Stadium to watch the Steelers. We are not Bengals fans. Just want to put that out there.
Thank you for clarifying.
I will say that to especially to drive this home is that, like like that being an open room, like things not there. For some reason, I wanted to say it about the movie I've chose, but I don't watch them every Halloween. But Paranormal Activity is that movie for me. Like I can literally watch. I watch a lot of scary movies. I can watch every scary movie, and I mean it. Gory, slasher, whatever it is, even like Hereditary by myself. But I don't know why, watch this Paranormal Activity by myself. Because what it does is you'll like it's all about hearing things or like seeing a shadow. And I'll just sit there and I'm like, no. I was like, and I got my cats always making noises and I'm just like, I'll just sit there and stare. Like it hits my paranoia to the max. So I tell everybody those movies scare me and they're like, no way. And I'm like, you don't understand. I grew up in a house that I considered haunted. And now I'll just sit there and just start playing. My mind will start going on a free-for-all when I start hearing things. Matthew, your lighting got worse.
It did.
Much worse.
It looks like you have a strobe light on. I'm pretty good at what's it called when you rationalize?
Sentences?
I'm pretty good at rationalizing sounds, though. So like when I'm in the quiet, especially here when I'm by myself, when I hear something, I'm pretty good at just being like, "That was the fridge," or like, "That was probably this or that." I'm pretty good at just like forgetting about it and not worrying about it. Oddly enough, silence I hate. Like I don't like being in like complete silence. Then I'm waiting for something.
Bowen said that, and now I bet he's gonna be one of those stories where like there's a guy, literally like a homeless guy, living with you right now. Like your shower turns on, you're just like, oh, that's just old pipes. Like you can hear your teeth, someone brushing their teeth. You're like, nah, man, I'm good. It ain't nothing. It's probably just the water.
I had to kind of get used to it though, living in my old room in the house in Frankfurt. That room was so big and dark. I used to have to just like that's when I had to start rationalizing noises. Was living in that house.
That house did have a lot of old noises.
Do you want to tell them what?
Boone, you had a spooky story to tell.
Yeah, I can tell one of the quick.
Is that what you were going to say, Bowen?
I was going to just say the Halloween thing.
Well, do you have the psychopathic traits? Because I have a good one of those that plays into all this.
Oh yeah.
This week's psychopathic trait of the week brought to you by Bowen and maybe Boone.
Mine doesn't tie in at all. It's just a funny.
Mine ties in heavily, so it just came to me. So every time, I don't care. I'll say, "Hey, McKenna, I'm gonna go get some Halloween candy, or I'm gonna go get some candy," and she'll look at me. And she'll like, "Are you getting candy or are you getting chocolate?" And I'm like, "What are you saying? What are you saying?"
We've had this debate so many times.
I know. Are we getting candy or chocolate? And she's like, "I'm getting candy, and that includes everything." And she's like, "No, there's chocolate and then there's candy." I was like, "No, okay." When I'm going trick or treating and I got that pillow sack on my back, it's full of candy. It's not full of chocolate and candy. It's full of candy. Okay. Anyway, that's a psychopathic trait. If you think there's a difference, it's candy. It's little sweets, good for.
Okay, so McKenna says chocolate or candy.
Yeah, she said they're not the same. Candy. You can't call chocolate candy. That's what she says. It cannot be referred to as candy.
When I think of candy, I think of like Sour Patch Kids or something like that. But I don't say get me chocolate and not candy. Like if Amber's like, this is a almost daily occurrence. Amber's like, I'm going to get some candy from the gas station, and I don't go, ooh, don't get me chocolate. Like I just go
exactly like I'm going down to the candy aisle in the store, and you're like, oh no, you can't look at the chocolate. It's there, even though it's in this candy aisle.
Yeah, that's psychopathic trait. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I had that argument.
There is a big difference, though. I think in between the sugary and versus the chocolate.
No, there is a big difference, but they're all lumped in. If you say candy, if someone says, "Hey man, I'm going to bring some candy to your party," I expect you to bring some Reese Pieces.
Like a Hershey's Kiss is a piece of candy. If you don't think a Hershey's Kiss isn't a piece of candy, then
candy is in this umbrella,
and that's just
chocolate is underneath the umbrella. That's chocolate right there. Go to YouTube, see that great physical demonstration.
It looks like that thing people used to do, like the church and the sequel. Here's all the people. Okay, I found this one in public. Now I'm getting really good at it. So I had to stop by Walgreens.
Do you have like a notepad?
Pick something up. I keep it on my notes.
Okay,
it's getting long.
Dang.
Don't pause that and look at these. Some of these, I'm just kidding. I don't care.
Check out YouTube.
Some of these
to
I
see
haven't
Bowen's
said yet.
deepest, darkest confessions on his notes app.
So if you've ever had to use a shopping cart at a Walgreens or a CVS, if you ever use one there, you're a psychopath.
That's accurate.
You don't need to do all that there. You don't. I don't know why they.
Oh, that's good. See, this is why we need this guy. I knew he was not getting paid for a reason. I knew he was.
I always think these stuff in my head, but now I'm like, I should just write this down because I look at stuff like that. And I'm like, don't use a shopping cart at Walgreens or CVS. A basket at most is okay. But if you need a shopping cart's worth, go to Kroger or Walmart.
It's so expensive for the stuff you would need, like groceries. Like it's like twice as expensive than going to a different store.
Oh yeah. And then I have one. I kind of like giving these to all. It's like you all are my therapist because I don't know if it's a psychopathic trait or not. Because I saw this on TikTok and it's something that I do, and they were saying it's crazy, and I was like, maybe it is kind of crazy. Because Bramley used to yell at me for doing it. But anyway, after like going to the gym or something and then going to the grocery store, I used to like to get a protein shake from Kroger though, like in the refrigerator, and then like drink it while we shopped, and then just like pay for the empty bottle. So I'm paying for it still, but people used to yell at me and be like, "Don't do that. That's weird."
I don't think it's a big deal.
Like that's that weird.
I think it's not socially normal because a lot of people don't see it, but I don't think it's definitely not a psychopathic trait. I think if it's like a drink, I can accept. But if it's food, it's a little different. Like a candy bar, maybe. But like if you got like a bag of chips you just opened up and are eating, that's a little weird. Or you're like,
I'll stop it at drink. That anything else is weird. Drink is pretty normal.
I've only
because like you go into a grocery store. What if it's hot in there? You're thirsty and you don't have a drink. You can just get one now.
Actually, no, I take that back. When my dad was GM at Penn Station, we were living at Corral Court. A treat we would have when we would go to Walmart is me sitting and Faith would get one of the dollar bags of like Funyuns or Doritos, whatever.
Yeah.
And we would eat those while my mom's shopping. We still pay for it at the end, but I do remember that was a thing.
That's weird.
I mean, I guess even as kids, like, you know that adults there to watching, like, you understand it. But I've heard rumors, and I've heard it like on a podcast one time, and they said that apparently like it's a dad thing. That some dads, like a select group of dads, will go to a grocery store and, like, when they're selecting vegetables or fruits, they'll like taste them before they buy them. They're like grapes. Like, they'll just grab one and taste it.
And taste them.
Yeah, grapes. But then, like, even strawberries or blueberries, like, they will literally open you know how they like snap closed? They'll open it, take one, and be like, okay, that's good, that's ripe. Yeah. Like, that's weird. That's a little weird. That's too much.
I've done grapes. I have done grapes. My mom used to yell at me every time, but I'd be like, they're sitting right there. I'm not going to pick one as we walk by.
We don't condone stealing grapes
I'm not
on
gonna
this podcast.
Mom, you expect me not to steal. Okay.
It's basically free. They're asking me. But she wasn't even mad about the stealing part. She was like, they aren't clean. You got to wash them. And I was like,
I don't wash grapes. First off, grape washing. Okay, I'm a big fruit washer, but
if there's anything that people can touch with their hands, I'm saying, and then you should wash it off. Like tomatoes or not avocado because that has a shell, but like stuff that the public touches, but then you also eat. You got to wash that.
I'm just going to go and tell you your logic is correct, but I still probably will never wash grapes. So
well, now that you know that it's a thing, though, I think your OCD might kick in next time you buy
it might try to click in, but I don't know. I have grapes at school right now. Like, I have it at my job right now.
So no. I'm saying if you buy it from the grocery store. I'm not saying it individually.
I'm at the grocery store.
A big thing of like a vine of grapes.
That's what I got.
Is that what they're called, Matthew? A vine of grapes?
Yeah, you just like eat them like this. You got the thing
like a Caesar.
What's that guy's name on Futurama?
Caesar. I don't know.
I would like to add to your shopping cart point is that when like you shouldn't need a shopping cart unless it's Christmas time at like a clothing store. Okay, this goes out to the ladies out here, not to be a little biased, but Matthew knows putting a shopping cart at the front of the store at like a TJ Maxx. It's like they're saying, hey, buddy, you're gonna have a long day today. Hey, you're gonna have a long day. Like, you don't need that much clothes.
Nah, that's true.
I like the shopping cart because I can lean on it. Because I'm just going to be sitting there for a while. I can lean on it.
It's such a small store with a shopping cart, and it's like, hey, man, how much money are you trying to spend here? Okay? No, I don't know. I'd rather just walk. I'd rather just fast pace. What I do in McKenna shopping is I do this technique. Kohl's? I don't know if Matthew, you should definitely implement this. Hopefully Amber's not listening. But what I'll do is like I don't like try to nag or be like make noises. What I'll do is I'll just stand real uncomfortably close to her the entire time. And so she'll have to like walk around me if she wants to look at this section, and then I'll move in front of her again. Like, and I won't make it too obvious, even though she knows I do it. But like I'll just like kind of push into her, little stuff like this, just enough to annoy her, just enough to speed her up.
I do this thing. Amber knows about it, but I do it still because it annoys her. I'll just go like I'll get closer. I won't get as close to her as you are, but I'll just go close and I'll go.
I knew, man.
Because I don't know.
Make the same,
this is a common.
You make the same.
I think it's a common thing where they just go touch all the clothes on the rack, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Just look at them and move on."
You make the same noise when we're on road trips and we pass Chipotle.
Yeah.
I think I also make that noise every time I like log in to work. I'm like, another day, another nickel.
All right, so I guess I can finish it off with a scary story real quick, and we can move on.
Boone's spooky story of the Halloween season.
I know that
tune
you
in
guys
next
have heard
year
most
for
of
the
them
next
still.
episode of Boone's spooky story.
I'll just tell one of the quicker ones, one that you haven't heard the most of, so that way you can prepare when I tell the other ones because you've heard 1,000 times. But I'll tell the time with my dad and the sock that I've told like maybe just twice to like you guys. But basically, my dad lives at his house by himself. Well, he lives with my brother. My brother works late and then just goes to his girlfriend. So my brother just basically just comes in because that's like a place to keep his clothes. So one day my brother was coming home and he just grabs his clothes and goes to his girlfriend's. Well, my dad was laying down in the back where his room is, and he said he heard the door open. He's like, oh, that's Kanan. And then he didn't think nothing of it. Well, then right after that, of course the door shut. He thought Kanan grabbed his stuff, and then the door shut. He's gone. So he was like, it all kind of the sequence of events made sense to him. My brother came in, grabbed his things, and then left. Well, then right after that, he said he heard someone knocking at the door. So he's like, oh, I guess Kanan might have locked himself out or something. Went to open the door. He opens it. No one's there. There's nothing there at the front door. So then he's like, I don't know what that is, but he's still like my dad still just processes like normal things. Maybe Kanan didn't mean to, something involving Kanan. My dad's kind of tired, not wanting to think too much about it. Goes back to bed. Well, then he wakes up to the dogs barking, and there's 3 dogs in our house at the time of this. So he says he wakes up to the dogs barking, and they're not barking dogs. If you ever met them, so he said that he knows that they only bark if somebody's making noise in the house that's unusual. So he said he immediately woke up, starts looking around, and he goes, and they're all like going towards the living room door. Like they're all like he woke up as they're barking. So it's not like they've been barking and he wakes up. It's like they just started barking. They start walking towards the door. He follows them. He opens the door, and again there's nothing there. And at this point he called Kanan, I believe. He called Kanan and said, hey, what's going on? Have you been back to the house since you left? And he said, no, I haven't been back to the house. So then my dad's just kind of confused by the whole situation, but he's too tired, heads back to bed. Well, the last time he wakes up again, dogs are barking. He knows, he's like, okay, something's going up. He's kind of frustrated. He's like, he told me when he was telling me the story, he's like, I'm pissed at this point. He's like, because something keeps waking him up. So he walks around the corner again, opens the door. This time he sees a dirty sock sitting right there at the door, like perfect. He said it wasn't crumbled. It was like someone perfectly placed this dirty white old sock right in front of the door. So my dad picks it up and he just holds on to it. And then he said that the next day, fast forward, he asked Kanan, hey, is this your sock? Because he just assumed, he's like, maybe it's Kanan's sock, but he never seen Kanan wear it. It's like super old sock, and it has like dirty. He's like, is this your sock that you wear? Like that you wear at Kanan's? Like, I've never seen that sock before in my life. He's like, no. And so rewind back to when my dad found the sock. He goes back in to lay down. He puts the sock next to his bed or whatever, thinks it's Kanan's. He wants to ask Kanan about it later. Well, then he hears the door open one last time, but this time, all the other times, it was just the door knocking. And I know I'm kind of like not telling the story the perfect way, but he hears the door open this time. And so as soon as he hears the door open,
front door,
yeah, the front door open, he just sits up. He told me he just sits up and he's just listening. He's like, he thinks it's Kanan, but so much weird has already happened. He just listens for a second, and the dogs are all up and like they're like all staring at the door from his room. Which all it is, his room doesn't have a door on it anymore. Like he took it off. It's just like a curtain that he puts there. So they're all just staring at the curtain, and he's kind of peeking around because his bed's right here and the door's right here. He's just kind of peeking around at the door. Well, then he said that he heard something stomp. Like, and it gives me chills every time he tells it. He said stomp all the way through the house right to his door. Like boom, 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 right up to his door. And he said it just stopped right at his door. And he said he could just feel like he was like real scared, and he just opened it and nothing was there. But he said as soon as he right there, it was cold as ice. And I was like, that's kind of a creepy story, dude. And he's like, I don't know why it happened. He's like, I don't know much of it. He's like, but that story still scares him. So that's one of the scariest.
I think you might have told me that. Did he go? I'm always curious. Like, what did he do after? Like, was he able to go back to sleep that night, or could he just like? Did he have to stay up
like I
work?
told you, my dad's like super like changed now, like from the stories we've told in the past. So like my dad's like he'll like just think it's like a spirit that'll just come into the house and do its own thing. Like he's just like all down for that.
I mean, like that night, what does he do?
I don't know what he did that night. He didn't tell me, but I know that he goes back to sleep. My dad always goes back to sleep. He'll just he probably would have done is like sat up confused for a while, and he would have went back to sleep. But like those type of things, and like I don't even have to go down the road. When I always say, when there's smoke, there's fire. And when my dad has all those stories, I've experienced multiple stories with him. Me and my brothers have had stories without my dad there. Like something strange happens at my house. I don't know if it's bad, if it's good, if it's ghost, if it's spirit, whatever it is. Something strange happens there. That's all I can label it as. End of story. Because my dad is not the type person, like you met him, he's still not that, he's so hard-nosed, like he does not get scared easily. He said he's like, that scared me. Like I know somebody was in the house making those noises. Kanan's gone, told me he was gone on the phone. Then he hears that and he opens it, no one's there. And he said it stopped right at his door. So it's definitely one of the creepier stories, but I didn't get to experience personally.
Dang.
I don't know if your dad ran around in scream masks or not. That might have been my brother, and I'm conflating the memories. But they dressed up as something and ran around and scared us.
Yeah, they did. They dressed up as yeah. Do you want to do the Halloween costume thing? Tell them what our Halloween costume is. We'll put a picture of it right here at the end. You can tell us who's the best.
Yeah.
We don't have to. I don't care. trying to get the video more involved.
Say it, Matthew?
What are we doing?
I can go first. I'm going as Pitbull, and I'm going to shave. So do you think I should leave this part and then the mustache, right? And that's it.
Does he have mustache? I don't even remember.
It's really thin.
Are you going to commit to shaving your face? Why don't you just like put paper over your beard?
Paper? Matthew, are you
It'll grow back.
No, you definitely should shave it. If you're going to it's going to look like you have no effort and you're like that guy if you don't. And like Jacob, remember Jacob's message? He's like, don't be shy. Like, listen.
I'll do it.
You got to go out.
I don't want to not put in a little bit of work. Then
I'm going as Michael Myers, and my outfit's all out. I got the complete deal now. It's more than just the mask. Son, it's going to be. McKenna said I showed her today. Like she came in today from work, and I had it all on because it came in the mail, and I just like peeked around the corner, and she's like, stop. And then I just didn't talk, and she was like, this is too scary. I don't want you to wear this anymore. And I was like, it's pretty scary. Like I'll look in the mirror, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty freaking scary.
You do have like the most realistic costume, like with the mask and everything. Are you gonna wear it the whole time?
As long as it's not gonna be too hot, dude, because it requires boots and overalls and
I meant the mask. Are you gonna wear the mask?
No, I can't wear the mask the whole time. What are you crazy? It hurts my face. No,
I'm gonna
have a hat.
I don't think it'll be hot. You should be good wearing the costume.
I'm gonna be Kakashi from Naruto. I got the hoodie on right now. See these guys ninja stuff, and it's got the stuff on.
Yeah, I was wondering that hoodie looked dope. I was wondering what's going on.
And I have a headband.
I was gonna ask too.
I have a headband and his mask that he wears.
Okay, all right. I like that you got the headband. That completes it.
Okay, so we'll put a picture at the end of this, and by the time it's released, it'll be on YouTube, and you can go see the video and see the picture of us. Let us know who had the best costume.
We can also make it the thumbnail of the video.
True.
But yeah, so thanks everybody. Love you.
Love you. Catch us on YouTube, Spotify.
That wasn't to you, Bone. That was to the listeners.
I know. I was saying it to them too.
I think Bone was just saying it too, Matthew. I don't think he was responding.
You say it too, Boone.
I hate you, Matthew. I mean, with all my guts inside.
Love's a strong word.
Boone doesn't know who
Love's
listens.
a strong word. I love him. I love him out there.
We appreciate you. We wish you could comment more.
Yeah, comment more.
Why don't we just start guilt tripping them? Hey man, can you start like sharing the?
If you don't share this to everyone you know, one of us will lose a finger in the next 3 weeks.
Matthew, I swear if I lose a finger, I'm not even.
That's not my fault.